we finished raking up the leaves, but we didn't have any clippers to be able to take down the vine. And then somebody told me that kudzu is actually really good for rabbits. And so I'm not going to cut it all down, but we have some here that is trying to climb up onto an electrical line, and so we need to take that down. So I'll show you that real quick, and then I feel like we'll be just a little bit closer to actually laying down some cardboard, getting some raised beds built, and this is super fun. So this is also the lumber that I will be using for hutches or raised beds, just because it's already here, why not? One of the most expensive things you buy when you're starting over on a homestead, at least in my opinion, is your cages and your fencing. For this part that's actually attached to the house, I'm just going to cut the vines at the bottom so that it dies and gets crumbly, and then we can pull it off easily, and that way I'm not pulling on things or risking, you know, cutting electrical lines. So here's my opinion. You don't have to be good at something in order to be able to get it done. I know I look a little flaky and I'm out here and I'm probably not doing a very good job, but I am getting it done, which means I don't have to think about it tomorrow, so it makes me happy. This is how I ruin all my pants. Alright, so I have clipped everything and left it hanging. Looks like I might have missed a couple. I think I want to make sure that they can't reach the fence again from the other side. Looks like there was one still connected. So I think I also probably want to clip it so that anything here, can you see anything here, can't reach up and grab on. I think I'm going to cut it just a little shorter. And one thing I'd like to say about invasives, we have not a lot of edible invasives back home. Some of our invasives are toxic to animals, like leafy spurge. But there are certain animals that can eat it. Sheep can eat it to a small degree. Our goats have eaten it. And as long as we didn't stick them in that patch and they could just kind of nibble here and there. Our neighbor was spraying a couple times a year and we never had to spray, and ours never spread. I went out with a weed whacker and cut it down once a year, maybe twice a year at the most. I think it's usually just once a year though. And even though it was on the bank of the canal where it had lots of water, and it would have been really happy to stay there, because I just went and cut it once a year, it never spread, and eventually it just went away. And so, like, a lot of people here are going to say that comfrey is an invasive, whereas where I am, you have to really baby it to get it going. I'm really excited to get some comfrey planted because I can also feed livestock with comfrey. Ducks love comfrey. Rabbits like comfrey too, but ducks love comfrey. So the reason why I'm doing this series is that my first love, my first homestead, was a tiny house and a tiny yard. It was probably about 20 by 60, 20 feet by 60 feet, our first home. And I loved it because it was a small enough space that I could keep up on everything and still be a mom. And now on top of that, I have this new adventure in Oklahoma where I have different soil and a different climate to work with, so it's really exciting. But people are like, why did you leave the farm? Why would you leave the farm? Why would you leave the farm? And this is fun too, and this is important. Just because it's not big enough to feed all of my family's dietary needs, because we won't have milk goats here. Uh-oh. Girls, I don't want to hear that. Apologize to each other, please. I'm waiting to hear an apology. Thank you. Just because it's not big enough to feed all of our dietary needs. Like, I can't raise pigs here, I can't raise goats or sheep here. It'll be interesting to see how much I can raise. Our last year on the homestead, I didn't raise lambs and I didn't raise pigs. We just had too much going on, and so I filled all of our dietary needs with ducks, quail, rabbits, and chickens. And all of our meat that went into the freezer was small animals, and so it's amazing how much you can do on a tiny space. You don't have to have a farm. I did bring a few of my tools, but not all of them, so that part is probably going to be a little bit interesting. I also don't have a workshop or somewhere covered to work with tools, so I'm going to be using Darwin's work table that he made for me. It's at Honeydew Carpenter, and I'll link the video so you can see it. It's amazing. I'm using it right now as a standing table for my computer, but it's meant to be used as a work table. It's just at the right height, and it's portable, fold it up, take it anywhere. So hopefully he has plans up for that soon, because it's a beautiful table, a beautiful gift for me. And hooray, let the work begin. So we are back to homeschooling now, and it's why I have set up my desk in the kitchen, so that I can be close to the kids while they're doing their school. As with everything else with kids, the further away you have them from each other, the more school they'll actually get done. They're working right now on their map puzzles. They worked well in the RV while we were traveling, because they could do their school while we were traveling, and the pieces stick to the map. Paige is working on the world map, Kai is working on the country, the US map. I do have other maps for them to use, but these will be sufficient for the next 6 months. Once Kaya has finished with her US map and knows all of that, then they can just take turns using. So I'm going to go ahead and keep on them for school, and we will be spending some more time outside every couple hours, just kind of refreshing our brains from school, but also this gives us a chance to rest after working outside, so it works well. So honey, what are you holding?
A teeny little white rabbit.
Yep. How are you, babe? Give me your foot. Okay, sing your song. The girls were making little bouquets for me out of flowers, and they were lovely. And then I thought, wow, that looks like something a rabbit would eat. Have you show me? So they used a piece of grass to make this little bouquet. It's a bunny bundle, and it holds together pretty well. Are you enjoying the grass? So this is the wheatgrass that my mom cut from the top of the mats, and then she didn't get time to get it juiced. I have it on top of the new hotbed, and I have our other bunny on top of the straw to poop and pee there to get things started really good. This is our perlite that we're going to put in our soil mixture, and then I also have some coconut core substrate for us to plant into. And I'm getting really excited to have this started. It's just about time, probably about another week and a half, and we'll be planting. So it's time to transition mamas and babies away from each other. They're getting big enough that they don't need to nurse anymore. Yeah, I'll stand here. The goats are the most helpful part. They are eternally helpful as they eat our new bushes. Do you need to go out in the back pasture, little one?
They both have it.
Huh? Okay, go slowly and gently so she doesn't know you want her.
The babies are just eating those babies.
You babies are so helpful. Okay, come on to the cage. So we're moving Mama to a smaller cage. My little mama. Can you see her? Hopefully my little mama will just keep hatching out babies. Here, bunny. You can see how fluffy he is. And you can see he has a little bit of vegetable matter. So, he has some matting. So I'm going to start in the middle where I can see really good. And then once I can see good and I can get a good start and see a good line, that's when I'll get to some of his matting. Okay, so he is finished. Sorry, he wants to be active. So he's all finished. I have him all cleaned up. So I'm going to take him back out to his cage. He's going to feel a lot better now. And I mean, let's see if I can bring it over. As a huge amount of fiber. Keep going. Don't let it stop. There you go. Okay, so you see what I'm doing with my hands? I'm kind of opening it up and letting it go onto the string. Okay. So what else do I want to talk about? Okay, so the t-shirts are off the market. The fundraiser is over on the 2nd. So if you wanted t-shirts, make sure to go get them. They're in the link in the description below. And they are helping us to get materials. One of the most expensive things you buy when you're starting over on a homestead, at least in my opinion, is your cages and your fencing. We're not going to have anything big that really needs fencing, but I am building some cages, and the hardware cloth is very expensive. To make 2 cages, I think it cost me $80 in supplies just for the wire cage part. And you know, whatever. We'll get to it eventually, but the t-shirts I thought were super fun. So hopefully you enjoy them.